Welcome to a live edition of Believers Talk. We are live just 9 weeks away from the start of the NFL season, guys. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to let you guys roll in here as we just simply talk Buffalo Bills football training camp coming up. Training camp starts July 25th. We'll talk about some of the position battles. If you watched my previous episode, you know that we're talking a little fantasy football as well. Anthony, how you doing? Thanks for joining me already on this Sunday afternoon. Another Sunday without football. A little depressing this time of year if you're a football fan. We did get to see the World Cup. Hope you guys watched the World Cup. We can even talk about that a little bit. The USA Women's World Cup team winning the whole thing this morning or this early afternoon. So congratulations to them, no doubt about it. Always good to see USA on top. So I got to watch that. I hope you did too. John Patrick, Dennis, how you doing? Thanks for joining me on Believers Talk again. We're just going to talk some Buffalo Bills football on this Sunday afternoon. Remind you of what's new here at Believers Talk, what to get excited about in 2019. There's lots of things to get excited about in 2019. You read the description below. It talks a little bit about those things. You talk about my partnership with BewareTheStampede.com. You go there for all of your Buffalo Bills news. You're talking about the roster. You're talking about you want to see the how much each game paid. Why words slipping my mind right now, I don't know. But you want to talk about stadium information. You want to see which Buffalo Bills have become Hall of Famers. We know some of the key guys, but there's a whole list of all the Buffalo Bills Hall of Famers on there as well. Just a one-stop shop. They're going to start doing a podcast on there by the start of the regular season. Also, going to have some articles on there as well. So there's going to be lots of information, and of course, you can find me on there as well, giving you my take on the Buffalo Bills. So we want to talk about position battles. I want to answer any questions you guys have. I just want to talk about Buffalo Bills football. Again, 9 weeks away to the start of the NFL season. I was just sitting here on a Sunday, beautiful Sunday here, but I was just sitting here saying, man, I just really wish we could talk some football. We'll talk more about the giveaway that we are having as well. But also, I want to talk to you guys about my partnership with Hashtag Sports. If you are a fan of Hashtag Sports, they also came out with this news as well. And if you're not already subscribed to Hashtag Sports, guys, go over there. Mario and Paul, great content all the time, posting new videos constantly, keeping you guys up to date on all Bills news, just like we do here on Believers Talk. So subscribe over there. And if you're not already subscribed to Believers Talk, guys, hit that subscribe button. Now is the perfect time to do it. If you hit that subscribe button, there are multiple ways to enter into this contest. But if you hit that subscribe button now, you are entered to win this Andre Reed autographed mini helmet. We are going to be having that sweepstakes or giveaway, whatever you want to call it, from now until August 6th, so you can enter every single day. Now, of course, you can only subscribe to Believers Talk once. So how else do you enter this contest? Well, you could go onto Twitter, follow both myself and Beware the Stampede on Twitter. If you follow us, boom, that's another entry. And then we will be tweeting out every single day something about the sweepstakes. You retweet that, or even if you create your own tweet, go on there, Twitter, create your own tweet, retweet what we tweeted, then go to BewareTheStampede.com, mark your entry, and you will be entered to win this Andre Reed autographed mini helmet. So again, a couple ways to enter. I see that Anthony already hit me up with a question. Be happy to answer that. Like I said, we're going to talk about training camp. July 25th, training camp starts. We'll talk position battles. There's a few position battles we need to talk about. If you've been watching, I did my 53-man roster breakdown. Did a whole series, went position by position. So you know who I think is going to win those positions. But I do see definite position battles there as well. Have a fantasy football question, I'll answer that as well. If you watch my fantasy football episode, I don't really watch fantasy football. I don't play fantasy football, but that means I'm not biased. I'll give you my honest opinion there. So Anthony writes, how much do you think Josh Allen will play during the preseason? Well, I have all our position battles, of course. Quarterback for once is not one of them. I feel like this is the first year in probably about 4, 5, 6 years where we have not had a position battle at quarterback. We know going in who our quarterback's going to be. Whether we want to argue that was fair to Tyrod Taylor or not, we can have the argument another day. I really prefer not to have the argument anymore. Tyrod Taylor's off the team. Let's forget about him. But I personally do not see Josh Allen playing all that much as far as preseason games go. That's why I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if we drop someone from our current 90-man active roster and bring in another quarterback just for the fourth guy, because I could see him playing maybe a series the first game, maybe a quarter the second game, a half the third game, and then obviously he won't play at all in that fourth game. Fox 87, welcome to Believers Talk. Glad you are with me. Always glad to see you. You think Tyree Jackson plays the most in the preseason? I actually agree with you on that. You'll see Allen in for maybe a series in the first game. Barkley will play the rest of the first half, and then Tyree Jackson, unless, like I said, we do get a fourth guy. Wouldn't be surprised. However, another reason why Tyree Jackson might be a good fit to play a lot during that time during preseason, especially with these young wide receivers, is because they often have compared Tyree Jackson's game to Josh Allen. You talk about the arm strength, you talk about the mobility, things like that. That is more suitable for like a Tyree Jackson than a Matt Barkley. Matt Barkley is your pocket passer, your marquee pocket passer, and he's there for his veteran leadership, right? He's there to help the young guy out. Because again, Josh Allen, we saw what he did with Derek Anderson, helping him out. So now he'll have Matt Barkley there to feed off of, and Tyree Jackson complements Josh Allen's game pretty well. So when you're talking about young wide receivers, you're talking about David Sills, you're talking about Duke Johnson, you're talking about those guys, you'll want someone who is comparable to Josh Allen and throwing them the ball. So that way you can get that rapport with those wide receivers, see how well they do with a Josh Allen type quarterback in there. So I think there's a competition for the preseason for the backup QB. Maybe. I think Matt Barkley definitely, if you're saying there's a QB competition there, I think Matt Barkley definitely has an advantage, right? I think going into preseason, going into training camp, Tyree Jackson's going to have to prove something before he even gets considered as a potential number 2 quarterback. There are a lot of mechanical issues with Tyree Jackson's game right now, and that's not hard to believe. If you think about Tyree Jackson, unlike most quarterbacks who are in the NFL right now, Tyree Jackson wasn't getting the coaching that some of those guys were when they were 10, 11, 12 years old. He actually didn't start getting coaching until he was at the University of Buffalo as far as mechanics go. Now, if you're a golfer, you know that sometimes you want to get those mechanics down right away. You don't want to start making those mistakes that are not correctable if you make them consistently. But if you're optimist, right? You look at it and say, well, maybe they can correct some of those issues, right? And you think about Tyree Jackson. He doesn't use his legs as much when he's throwing the ball, right? He uses all of his body strength comes from his upper body when he's throwing the ball most of the time. He needs to stop that. He needs to be able to step into his throw, get a good release, and not throw into some tricky situations. Now, the good with Tyree Jackson is out there, right? We've seen some great plays, some great throws, especially us being fans of the University of Buffalo. We've seen some good plays from him, but we also seen some plays where we have no idea what he's thinking, what he's doing. Some plays where he threw the ball short, maybe Donovan McNabb the ball a bunch, but we hope that we can work on those mechanics, now that he's getting trained by some, I know he has a coach with him now, and I forget the name, but again, now that he has coaching to help him with those mechanics, that he will hopefully in the future be better. I see him as a practice squad player this season, but we'll see what happens. Again, I think he has a lot to prove in training camp before he is considered ahead of Matt Barkley. I think Matt Barkley is about 75% sure that he is going to be that QB number 2. Again, barring injuries can happen, and if he is injured, I think Tyree Jackson could step in. However, then I think we also have to get another veteran guy to be in there as well. So let me get some of these comments again. Thank you for joining me. If you are new, hit that subscribe button, like this video. We'll go over some more things. I'll go over that sweepstakes and giveaway that we're doing again before this video is over. We have a lot of things going on in 2019. We'll get into that. We're talking about training camp. Training camp starts July 25th. I know a lot of people in the area are a little upset about the training camp schedule. I don't think they have as many practices that fans can go to as they normally do. Last year, I know they had 5. Not sure how many they have this year, but so I know that has some fans upset. as I look at the schedule for all teams' training camps, I realize that that's a trend a lot of places now in the NFL, that they're not opening up their training camp to the fans as much. And it might be disappointing, but you also have to remember that with the NFLPA and things like that, there are a lot more rules when it comes to how often you can hit each other during the summertime and during the week and all that. So they're being they have a lot more sparingly. They're spreading out their training camp schedule a little bit more, and that leads to maybe some less fan interaction, as much as we would love to see that. So let's get through some other comments. I think Tyree Jackson might be a practice squad player. Yeah, I agree with you, Anthony. I do believe that as well. But I think that he could be a young stud. If we want him on the practice squad, we have to make sure that we know that no other team would want to add him to their 53-man roster, which, it's again, when I talk about his mechanical issues, it's hard to believe that they would. Jesse Palmer is the guy I was thinking about, who's coaching Tyree Jackson right now with those mechanical issues. So hopefully he's improving his game a little bit. Now, Jesse Palmer has nothing but good things to say about Tyree Jackson, but I guess if you're the coach of the guy, you probably would say a lot of good things. You don't want to make the kid feel bad, especially in front of the media. So, but I do think he's going to be a practice squad player. Yeah, I hope, John Patrick, I do hope that they can hide him on the practice squad. Hey, Stefan, what's going on, man? Good to see you on the channel. Always happy to have people on here. Again, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Like I said, we'll talk about the sweepstakes a little bit. Well, from Germany, glad that you are here. You want to hit that subscribe button, because not only are we live now, we go live for every single Buffalo Bills games, and that's another reason why you'll have to hit go live with or subscribe to Hashtag Sports, as well as we will be teaming up this year to give you live play-by-play reaction of every single Buffalo Bills game. You don't want to miss it, especially when you're there in Germany, not sure what kind of Buffalo Bills TV access you get, but we will give you live play-by-play reaction for every single Buffalo Bills game. You don't want to miss out. But thank you for joining me from Germany, man. Happy to talk Buffalo Bills football with anybody, especially someone from another country. So thank you for joining me. Perfect. Well, I mean, we did have Nathan Peterman on our 53-man roster. So after we have Nathan Peterman on our 53-man roster, it's not that inconceivable to think that we'll have a quarterback there. But again, as I did my roster breakdown, you guys, so hopefully you saw my quarterback roster breakdown. If you didn't, go back. I did a breakdown on all three quarterbacks. And last year in 2018, the Buffalo Bills kept two quarterbacks on their 53-man active roster most season. When Josh Allen was out, it was Derek Anderson, Matt Barkley. When Derek Anderson went out, that's when we got Matt Barkley. I mean, there was a mess at the quarterback position, right? I mean, we had Nathan Peterman for a little bit, so it was a mess at the quarterback position. But I don't think there was a single time where we had more than two. Even when Derek Anderson got healthy back from his concussion, he was still listed on the injury list for most games towards the end of the season, because we had Josh Allen and Matt Barkley at that time. So that's what we are talking about here. So again, guys, thank you for joining me. Again, like I said, it's a Sunday, 9 weeks away from the first Buffalo Bills game. Obviously, we play Thursday. I think New England and Pittsburgh. No, New England doesn't play. It's the first time in like 10 years where the Super Bowl winner of the previous year doesn't play. I think it's the Bears-Packers that play on Thursday night to open up the NFL season. So I'm not sure why the Patriots are not kicking off the season this year, the Super Bowl winner. So if someone knows that, let me know in the comments section. But like I said, that will kick off 8 Thursdays from now, and then 9 weeks from now will be the first Buffalo Bills game as the Buffalo Bills travel to New Jersey to play the New York, New Jersey Jets, and then back-to-back weeks, then you get the New York, New Jersey Giants also in East Rutherford. So, we could stay there, but it's not a long trip between Buffalo and New Jersey, maybe 6-7 hours compared to some of the other trips that these guys take. That's not that long. So we'll see what happens. But again, thanks for joining me, guys. I want to get into some of the new things going on with Believers Talk in 2019. Thank you, Anthony. See, that's why I rely on you guys. So since it's the 100th season for the for the NFL. Packers, Bears, old rivalry. Patriots, and one of the, I'm not going to say newer teams, but compared to 100 years, they are. So that's why they're there. Thank you, Anthony, for that. You learn something new every single day, and that's my new, that's what I learned for the day. So again, I appreciate that. If Ty Nsekhe doesn't start, would you say he was a waste of money? Also, what's the cap hit if he gets cut? I did go over this in my offensive line breakdown, so you will have to check that out. However, I will let you know right now. I'll go on to spottrack.com. I'll go on bewarethestampede.com, guys, because again, you can get all that information there. So I'll go there, go to salary information, and you can pull it all up. Like I said, it's a one-stop shop. So go to Beware the Stampede, and again, that's going to help you with the giveaway that we're currently doing as well. So you want to go there and make sure to hit the mailing list. You can join their mailing list, and that also counts as a entry into the sweepstakes giveaway. So go ahead and hit that. So I'll go salary cap. So the question was asked, what is Ty Nsekhe's dead cap money? I personally don't think he's a waste of money. Anytime you can improve an offensive line, I don't think he's a waste of money. And you also have to think, when we got Ty Nsekhe, we did not know who else we were going to get on the offensive line. I believe we got 3 or 4 offensive linemen after him. We also drafted Cody Ford. That was not definite at that time. So I think that it's always good to improve your offensive line. If we do cut him, it would be worth $6.2 million towards dead cap money. And for that reason alone, I would say we have to keep him. If he's not a starter, we have to keep him on the bench. $6.2 million. You're talking about LaShawn McCoy dead cap money at that point. I think that's actually probably our top 5 in dead cap money. So let me take a look at that. Nope, I'm wrong there, but it would be, where we at? Ty Nsekhe's right below Trent Murphy. And then his contract does become very team-friendly after this year. Again, barring injury or something like that. It does sound like a lot of money, John Patrick. I don't disagree with you there. But again, we weren't sure who we were going to get after we picked up Ty Nsekhe. We weren't sure who we were going to draft. So you see a guy like Ty Nsekhe there. And again, a lot of people don't know what Ty Nsekhe can do. I always tell people, go back to that game against Houston where the Redskins played the Houston Texans. Why do I want to say Oilers? The Houston Texans. And watch how he did against Jadeveon Clowney. He does pretty well. He holds his own against one of the better pass rushers in the league. So watch that game. I think he's going to be all right. Will he be a starter? I'm not sure. But I think he has a good shot to make this team. So I'm not worried about that. Is it 3 years? Let me go back. Let me look at Ty Nsekhe right now. So Ty Nsekhe would count towards... No, it's 2 years. So this year he's due $3.2 million in base salary. Next year it's $3.1 in base salary. But he's only worth $1.5 against the dead cap next season. So it pays to have him on the team this year. Next season you can talk more about what he's worth to the team, and then in 2021 he becomes an unrestricted free agent. So that is Ty Nsekhe's breakdown there. So again, this year, yeah, it sounds like a lot. $6.5 million dead cap. That's why, again, I think we're going to keep him this season. But then next year, very team friendly, as it would only cost us $1.5 million in dead cap money after that. So Thomas, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk again. Thank you all for joining me again. I'm going to have my blow up. Hey, the Buffalo Bills added 20 plus free agents, man. This team is going to have to make some tough cuts this season. There are going to be some cuts that the Bills make, especially at that wide receiver position, where other teams are going to be looking and saying, who they cutting? We need them. Pick them up. Let's go get them. This team is getting slept on, and I'm telling you what, they're going to surprise some people. I saw that Vegas has us at plus 425 to make the playoffs. I think that's highway robbery. Bet if you can, because plus 425, you're going to make some money, again, barring injury, right? We don't know what injuries are going to happen. I don't think the Buffalo Bills just have a shot to make the playoffs. I believe that the Buffalo Bills have a shot to fight for the division. And we'll get into that. Obviously, we'll get into that more when I talk about my my 2019 season prediction. I try to keep it to one prediction. I might do 2 this season. But again, it all depends on injuries. You're talking about training camp, preseason, what's going to happen there. We always see it. 1 or 2 guys go down. We just hope that's not your team. You know, I talked about how quiet it is right now as far as the NFL landscape. I'm happy about that. I mean, I always hate this time of year just because of how quiet it is. But at the same time, I'd rather it be quiet than last year. Remember, last year we're talking about LaShawn McCoy with his girlfriend during the offseason. I actually think that was during training camp when that came down. You're talking about 2 years ago, or last year was Zay Jones, right? Zay Jones with his incident. I mean, Richie Incognito with his stuff going on, his mental problems. Eric Wood, shortly after the season ended, we found he had to retire 2 years ago. Like, it's all just craziness. And so it's nice to kind of like calm waters right now, right? I guarantee you Brandon Beane's still back there trying to figure out how to make this team better. And I'm not even positive that we're not done adding people and dropping some other people somewhere else. But it's nice to have calm waters for now and not have to worry about what's going on behind the scenes. Hopefully that, Sean McDermott, when he came on, Coach McDermott wanted to teach some discipline. He wanted to give this team an identity, which we've been missing for a long time. And I think we're slowly starting to get that. And I think we're going to see that even more this season. I think that defense is still going to be ferocious. Again, he even said during OTAs, he wants to see more mean. He wants to see more toughness. He wants to see more grit out of that defense. And I do too. So I look forward to seeing that. Who do you think can be the next Bruce Smith kind of guy? Bruce Smith is a once-in-a-lifetime type guy, right? Bruce Smith, talking about the sack leader for the NFL currently, with 200 sacks. So, that's a hard number to hit. If you're talking about a guy to be disruptive at the defensive end position, I don't know if we have that type of guy on our team. I like our defensive ends. I like Jerry Hughes. I like Trent Murphy. Shaq Lawson, I could give or take, right? I think we don't have the Bruce Smith type guy on our team. Ed Oliver is going to be very disruptive on that line. I do agree with you, John Patrick. But again, Ed Oliver, defensive tackle, Bruce Smith, defensive end. However, if you get Ed Oliver in there at the defensive tackle position, that's going to open up more things for the defensive ends, right? If they can only double one of the guys. They can only double Starr or Ed Oliver. They can't double both, because if they do, that leaves one of the edge rushers rushing free to the quarterback. So you can't have that. So if Ed wins his one-on-one battles inside and might start requiring some help, that might leave one of our edges open. I could see Jerry Hughes getting 7, 8, maybe even 9 sacks this season. I could see Trent Murphy having a big year. I know a lot of people are saying that. I think between Trent Murphy and Shaq Lawson, one of them is going to have a big year. Now, by big year for them, I would say, again, 6, 7 sacks. So maybe not a big year in the grand scheme of things, but for them, that's a big year. And if you add that to what Jerry Hughes can do, if you add that to what Lorenzo Alexander could do, remember Lorenzo Alexander just had career high for sacks last season. So some people are saying Father Time's catching up to him, and it probably is, but he's not letting it show on the field. So you look at Tremaine Edmonds, of course, a year under his belt. How monstrous is he going to be? Matt Milano will be back from injury. We'll see how he can do. Hopefully stuffing that run. Again, 16th ranked run defense last season. We need them to help stop the run, because we can trust our corners and safeties, right? We had 16 sacks last season, still the number 1 pass defense. So it's not like we were getting to the quarterback as far as sacks. I know we were better with QB hits. But when you play a guy like Tom Brady, sometimes you would have gotten more sacks if you would played against a guy who doesn't throw the ball so quickly. So we'll see what happens. It's your birthday on cut day. Hope my guys make it, Mackenzie and Neil. I think Siren Neil makes it. Mackenzie's in a tough spot, right? Mackenzie is more of the gadget play or special teams guy that you want on that team. And you look at Andre Roberts and you look at Sonoris Perry, who both guys were signed basically for their special teams abilities. I'm not sure Isaiah McKenzie does make this team. However, I believe in my wide receiver breakdown, I'm pretty sure I do have him making this team, because I have us adding one extra wide receiver in the depth chart of the 53-man roster. I was getting rid of, we brought in 5 defensive ends last season on the 53-man roster. I only have us bringing in 4 this year, and then I also have us picking up an extra wide receiver. That's the only difference I have from last year's 53-man roster as far as numbers number in that position to this year. So we'll see what happens. I would love to see. I mean, I think Isaiah McKenzie was definitely a spark plug for this team when he came in, but he was a spark plug for a 6-10 team. So if you follow hashtag sports, what Mario always says is, you know, he was good on a 6-10 team. Does that mean he's going to be good on this team? Again, we're not looking to be 6-10. We're not looking to be 8-8. We're looking to be 10-6, 11-5. We're looking to contend with the Patriots in this division. You know, we're sick and tired of finishing second fiddle at best in this division. I think we can make a run. It's just going to take a lot of effort, obviously, on everyone's part on that Bills team to make it happen. You know, I look at the running back position. I think that's going to be a bigger competition than what people think. I think, obviously, LeSean McCoy does have make the Pro Bowl for the Bills. All right, Thomas, if you say so. I think that LeSean McCoy obviously has an edge in just because of his experience, but you look at experience, look at Frank Gore. I don't see Frank Gore being a starting back. You're talking about a guy who's, 36 years old now. I don't think he has the ability to be a starter at this time anymore. But you also you have to look at Singletary. You have to look at him. He's a young guy, fresh legs. We'll see what happens. But we know the offensive line is going to help him out. We know the offensive line is going to help LeSean McCoy out. Obviously, it's a big improvement from last season. Look forward to seeing how well they do. And there's going to be position battles on that offensive line. I'm pretty sure we're set left tackle and center with Deion Dawkins and Mitch Morse. But I think those are the only two positions that are locked up, right? You know, John Feliciano is out there. Ty Nsekhe, who, John, you talked about a little bit earlier, is out there. You talk about a lot of good players. Cody Ford's out there. He's probably going to make the first, the first line. But right now, in OTAs, he was playing second line. So we'll see. Do the Bills go 3-0 to start the year? So you're talking about the Jets, Giants, and Bengals. If we want to contend with the Patriots for this division, we have to go 3-0 to start the season, right? I think for sure we win the Bengals game at home. That's our home opener. That's week 3. I think it's going to be very emotional due to the whole Pancho Villa situation and, you know, the passing of him this offseason. I think that, I do believe that there's going to be some sort of decal or something for him, for Pancho Villa on the team helmet or jerseys or whatever have you. And well-deserved. He is definitely going to go down as the best Bills fan of all time. That's my opinion, and I think most of you would agree with me. But not only that, just a good person, right? I mean, you talk about a guy who his dying wish was not for people not to send flowers, but to send backpacks filled with supplies for kids to go to school. I mean, how cool is that? And obviously, Bills Mafia and others delivered on that, and I'm sure he would have been happy with what Bills Mafia did. So great job by you guys, Bills Mafia, getting the word out and sending either donations or backpacks filled with supplies for kids. That's really great. I'd buy a Pancho jersey. Absolutely, I would buy a Pancho Villa jersey. I'd buy a Pancho Villa wristband. I'd buy a Pancho Villa everything, whatever I think would happen. But what do I think about the Bills going 3-0? And I see, Stefan, I see your question, and I'll get to that in a second. But again, I think the Bills have to. I think the only tricky game for us would be the Jets. We always split against the Jets. I like the fact that we play the Jets week 1, just because I'm not sure if Le'Veon Bell is going to be completely ready to jump back into football after missing a whole season, right? I mean, you can practice all you want. You can go train camp all you want. But it's still not the same thing as a game, right? And I'm not saying he's an absolutely great talent. I think he is. But I think there's going to be a learning curve again with him. I think about the year he got suspended for 4 games when him and LeGarrette Blount got caught with, I think it was marijuana in their car or something like that. That week 5 game, I don't think he played all that well. I don't think he played bad either, but I can't recall. I don't think he played all that well. So if you go back to that and use that as kind of like a beat, and that was only 4 games. That wasn't 16. That wasn't a whole 2 seasons. Everyone talked about right before free agency opened, and we're talking about how he gained weight, and we're not talking about in a good way during his year off. So we'll see if he is in football shape. I do believe this team can start off 3-0, and that's probably what I'm going to predict. Again, I will give my full season prediction probably right before the season starts, right? I mean, probably maybe right right before that 4th preseason game would be the earliest, just because I want to see what happens. I can't give a good prediction if I don't know who the starting offensive line is going to be, or if I think Josh Allen's going to be in there and he gets hurt. I hope not, but that obviously changes things. And I know you guys know that, but why would I spend so much time in a prediction video and then all of a sudden something changes and then I have to do a new one, right? I hope that makes sense to you guys. So I'll probably do my prediction video right before the season starts. Again, probably earliest would be right after that 3rd preseason game. Latest would be obviously the Wednesday or Thursday before the NFL season starts. So Stefan asks, what do I think of Duke Williams? Again, I've done a few videos on Duke Williams. I know a lot of people are high on Duke Williams, but I looked into CFL statistics and how they relate to the NFL. Again, you look at the wide receiver position, the only wide receiver who actually did anything coming out of CFL to the NFL in the past 60, 70 years would be Joe Horn from the Saints. That's it. And Joe Horn was only in the CFL for 1 season. He was on a team that was debunked after 1 year. I learned all this from actually someone who was watching, who commented and was a huge fan of the CFL. The CFL is a completely different game for wide receivers, okay? So Duke Johnson led the CFL, I believe it was in yards. He led in one category, the yards or catches, last season. And so I went back just 1 season, just last year, the same guy led the CFL in receptions, in yards, and in touchdowns, okay? Same guy. He was signed by the Minnesota Vikings, and in 16 games, he played in all 16 games, and it's very possible they played special teams only, but in 16 games, how many catches he had? 1. 1 catch. Okay, so we look at these CFL numbers, and they might look pretty, and they might mean something, but they don't in the NFL. They just don't. Now, I like his size. I want to see him go up and get the ball, right? He beat Trey White 1 time in training camp, or I'm sorry, in OTAs, so everyone was high on him for that. I understand that. And guys, if he makes the team, it's only good for the Buffalo Bills. So don't come at me and say, oh, well, you're just hating on him. No, I'm not. I want him to make the team, because if he makes the team, it's only good for the Buffalo Bills. But I don't see him making the team. I think the wide receiver depth that we have currently, I mean, look at our top 4. We pretty much know where our top 4 are going to be. We got Brown, Beasley, Jones, and then Foster, right? Those are our top 4. So you look at, I think we have 11 wide receivers or 9 wide receivers. So you're fighting for maybe 3 more spots between those 5, 6 guys. There's going to have to be some tough cuts. Again, Duke Williams, I don't think he's going to make it. You talk about, we signed Andre Roberts to be a special team guy, so he's not going to be that special team guy that we want. We even signed Senonis Perry to go to the running back position to be that special team guy, so we don't need a guy returning kicks. So he's got one thing going for him, is that he's the tallest guy currently on the Buffalo Bills wide receiver roster, I believe, or is tied with someone or something like that. But he's one of the tallest wide receivers we got. So we need to see him go up and get the ball during training camp, during preseason. And that's why I think maybe Tyree Jackson will get more playing time, just because of his comparables to Josh Allen. So we'll see what happens. But that's my take on Duke Williams. Would I be happy if Ford turned out like Dawkins? Starting tackle in the NFL, or do you have higher hopes for him? Given the fact that that just Brandon Beane and Coach McDermott had high hopes for him, gives me high hopes, right? We've probably all seen by now the War Room video that the Buffalo Bills let out when Pancho Villa made that first-round selection. That made me very happy to see that. But then we saw Brandon Beane, freaking out, trying to trade up in the 2nd round to get Cody Ford. So for that reason alone, you talk about, Deion Dawkins was a 2nd round pick, but we didn't trade up for him, right? So the moment you trade up for somebody, that means he's worth a little bit more, right? So with Cody Ford, yeah, there's that little bit of added pressure of, no, they trade up, they came up to get me. And, Cody Ford was talked about a lot in the 1st round. So I would say I have higher expectations for Cody Ford if he turns into a Deion Dawkins type player. But we know that the consistency's there, right? We don't know if the consistency's there with Deion Dawkins. That's one of our concerns. He played well last season. We hope that continues. But as long as it stays that way, I don't think I'd be disappointed, but I do have higher expectations for him. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. The Duke is different build-wise and play-wise than any wide receiver on the current roster. He has a different build. You're right, he's taller. He's taller. He's the go up and get it guy. But we had to go up and get a guy last season at the beginning of the year that didn't exactly pan out in Benjamin, right? So just because that's his specialty, if he can't do it well at this level, that means nothing. It means nothing. Your size, your stature. Yao Ming was very tall. That doesn't mean I can come on a football field and he's going to go and catch a ball. That's all I'm saying. Like, I know he has a different skill set. I get it. I'm going to watch him play. I've watched him. I watched him in the CFL. Everyone brings up that block against that cornerback where he just blew him up. Well, you have to remember that cornerback was standing still. A wide receiver in the CFL gets a 10-yard head start. So he had a good 15, 17 yards of full momentum going at a guy standing still. Now, you can blame the cornerback for staying still all you want. But if I have 15 yards of momentum going towards the guy, hopefully, I impact him a little bit. I mean, I'm a small guy compared to Duke Williams. But if I'm playing against a guy, and I believe that cornerback was even smaller than Duke Williams, so I really hope that I would have an effect on him if I got a 15-yard head start. So when he went to the Rams as a non-draft free agent, he was not right mentally. He wasn't right mentally, and then when he wasn't chosen even to be on their practice squad, like they chose a guy who just 2 years prior was a quarterback, and now he's a wide receiver on a practice squad 2 years later that Duke was a member of, and so he wasn't right mentally. So now he is right mentally. We know that for sure because he played in the CFL. There's so many question marks that you want to see him do well. I'm not saying he's not going to. We just have to lower our expectations. We can't think that he's just going to come into the NFL and shine. We can't think that because a wide receiver hasn't shined in Buffalo since what? Stevie Johnson? Eric Moulds? Like, come on. We have to be smart, guys. We can't just say, oh, he's going to do great because he did great in the CFL. Oh, he's going to do great because he came into Auburn and he did well there. Oh, he wasn't in the right mind frame during the draft. Okay, all excuses, but none of that translates to the NFL today and how well he's going to do in the NFL. I watched a little bit of Alliance of American Football, and I don't think many players made it in the NFL at all. No, you're not mistaken, Stefan. But that's the thing. The guy who was on Atlanta Falcons practice squad the year that Duke Williams got drafted, he was playing in the AAF as a quarterback. So he spent 2 or 3 years as a wide receiver in the NFL, mostly on the practice squad, beat out Duke Williams, who was a wide receiver his whole career, and then he comes back to AAF and plays some football. So, but no, not too many players from the AAF currently are on an NFL roster. I'm not sure who is, but I'm not sure. I think Ford has more potential and starting talent as a rookie than Darkins did. First of all, Dennis, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk. Again, I appreciate everyone who's here. I appreciate the comments. I know sometimes we're going to disagree, and that's fine. That's what this is all about. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like this video. Good to talk some NFL football on a kind of dead time, right? It's a dead time currently in the NFL as we get ready to celebrate the 100th NFL season. I look forward to it, and like I said, we're going to give you between hashtag sports and Believers Talk, and give you every single live play-by-play reaction to the games this season. So you want to make sure, if you haven't subscribed to hashtag sports, hit that, go over there. If you haven't subscribed to Believers Talk, subscribe to me as well. We're going to have you covered this NFL season. Also, while I'm talking about that, we are also going over to sportscaster.com. Link is in the description below. Now, we will be giving you simulcast on YouTube of the live play-by-play reaction. So if you want that, that's what you can get. However, it's not going to be the same. You see the background behind me? That's what you would see on YouTube. On Sportscaster, you're going to have a little bit of a ticker behind you where it's going to tell you down and distance. It's going to tell you what the score is, things like that, timeouts. So it's kind of like if you ever watch MLB Network, you see the stats and stuff behind them. It's going to be like that, and then you have us commentating on the game. At least that's my understanding. You can go over to sportscaster.com. Again, link in the description below. Check some of the things out there. They do have some live streams currently with UFC and MLB, things like that. So check them out. Tell me what you think. And then again, we will be going live both here on YouTube and on sportscaster.com come this NFL season. I think Duke's drive is much higher than Benjamin. Probably. I mean, Benjamin didn't have much of a drive towards the end there. Benjamin was giving up on plays for Buffalo, and I hope it is. He should be hungry because he wasn't on an NFL team last year. He's trying to change his life, basically. So hopefully he's hungry. But, everyone in training camp right now is hungry. Or at least they should be, right? If you're not hungry, you're in the wrong business. So he's not competing because he's not he might not be the hungriest of that wide receiving crew. They're all hungry. So who's willing to do the dirty work? Who's willing to get the job done? And that might be Duke Williams, but it might not be. That's all I'm saying. I hope Wyatt Teller develops. I do too. I actually have him making the roster. I think he's a good player. I hope that he does well for the Buffalo Bills. I love his attitude. I agree with you. Good to see Richard Incognito in Oakland. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but just when you have mental issues, you want to see the best for those people. I hope that those mental issues are over. Although if you look at Richard Incognito's past, you worry that might not be, but I hope that those are behind him. I hope he does well in Oakland. We don't play Oakland this year, so what do I care? But we'll see what happens there. Teller will have to battle to make the team. He will. We do have depth at that O-line position that will definitely, I think everyone other than, like I said, Dean Dawkins and Mitch Morris might have some work to do to make this team. That's awesome. Dennis comments about Duke Williams again. If he can be that guy, yeah. Listen, if he can be that guy, I'm excited. If he can be the guy that we wanted Kelvin Benjamin to be last season, I'm excited. And like I said, if I'm wrong, it's only good for the Bills, and that's awesome. In that regard, I hope I'm wrong. Again, when you look at guys like Isaiah McKenzie, and you look at guys like Andre Roberts and people like they're the same mold, right? They're the gadget play, special team type guys. That's not Duke Williams. When you look at Zay Jones, Cole Beasley, you look at slot guys. That's not Duke Williams. When you look at Brown and Foster, they're the burners. So you're right. He has a different skill set than every single wide receiver currently on the roster. That doesn't guarantee him a spot though. You look at David Sills. I think David Sills and him might have some comparables as well. David Sills is a beast. It might come down to those two, David Sills and Duke Williams. I hope not, because I would love to see them both on the team, but I think it might come down to those two as far as who gets that last roster spot. Do I think Ed Oliver makes the D-line? Fox87, again, thank you for the question. Right now, Ed Oliver is practicing, well, at least at OTAs. Ed Oliver was practicing with the second string O-line, but we've seen this in the past with Sean McDermott. Normally he makes the rookies try out with the second team, makes them kind of earn it before he's on the first D-line. We all know that Coach McDermott and Leslie Frazier like to rotate players on that D-line. So I see Ed Oliver getting a lot of time in there, even if he's not a starter. But yeah, I think Ed Oliver's a for sure starter on our defensive line, right next to Starla Tuolei. But don't be surprised if early in the season he gets rotated in and out a little bit more, and then they give him more snaps as the season goes on. But yeah, I definitely think he's going to be a starting defensive tackle for the Buffalo Bills. Do I think that Rob Gronkowski comes out of retirement to play for the Bills? No, I don't think Rob Gronkowski comes out of retirement at all until maybe week 10. Week 10 would be the earliest. I mean, I feel like even if he announced he wanted to come out of retirement today, right? And I think he still has a contract with the Patriots, so the Patriots would still have him under contract. I think it would take him some time. He wasn't a part of OTAs, so would he be ready to go week 1? And Le'Veon Bell missed OTAs, but Le'Veon Bell, or at least not the mandatory ones, but also Le'Veon Bell was working out supposedly. Gronk, even though Gronk's lost a lot of weight, he looks like he's in pretty decent shape, but not the same shape he was, not in the NFL shape he was when he was tight end for the Patriots. So normally, when you see a guy make some sort of dramatic change, he won't, to his weight, to his lifestyle, whatever it might be, he won't come back. And we know Gronk's lifestyle. He's saying he's having fun. I believe him. I wish him nothing but the best in retirement. He's not a Patriot anymore, even though I guess he's always going to be a Patriot or whatever crap that is. He's not going to play against us anymore. I still hold a grudge for what he did to Trey White 2 years ago. But it is what it is, so we have to get over it. Angry Buffalo sports fan, how you doing? Yeah, John Patrick, I agree with you. I think Gronkowski's done in the NFL. Glad you can make it here on this Sunday. Like I said, 9 weeks. 9 weeks, guys, and we'll be live right here or on Sportscaster with hashtag. We're going to work out our schedule. We'll let you guys know. And we'll be live for live play and reaction for the Buffalo Bills at New York, New Jersey Jets. Looking forward to that one. I think it's going to be a great way to open the season. Going to be a great barometer to see how this team's doing. A lot of people expect a slugfest. I hope we come out and dominate the whole game. I hope the score is something like the Dolphins game was in Week 17 last season. I hope we completely dominate this game. And I think we can. Hey, Stefan, thanks a lot. Glad that you can join me. I'm sure it's late in Germany, and I will see you around. Good night to you. Again, thank you for joining me from Germany. That's awesome. Like I said, continue to join us for the live play reaction. We'll be live before the season starts, of course. And I also will be giving my picks every single week, not just for the Bills game, but for every single game. Last year I did it, but I didn't keep track of my record. This year we're going to keep track, see how I'm doing. So again, thanks a lot. Yeah, after what I did, Trey White, I wasn't too happy with that, but thank you, Dennis. I appreciate that. I try to give you all the best Bills content I can, keep you up to date on everything that we are going on. I've been drinking for the past 3 months till football season comes. That's how it happens, right? You just got to do something until football season starts. I still even got my Sabres cup out. If you're a Sabres fan, we do cover some Sabres news. Fox 87's been doing a lot of great things talking about the Buffalo Sabres. So if you are a Sabres fan, you want to go over there, you want to subscribe to him as well. Talking about who we signed, who we've picked up, who we drafted. I did a draft episode here, but he covered the whole draft. I just did our first pick. So go over Fox 87. Definitely hit that subscribe button. Dennis, again, if we start 2-0, then I believe we're going to start 3-0, and you're going to have a 3-0 team going against the Patriots at home. The crowd would be going nuts. No Gronkowski. It could open up a door for the Buffalo Bills. Thomas, you just drank what, like while I'm here, while watching, like in the past 45 minutes? That's good. I guess I don't know. I stay away from beer mostly because I don't know what would happen. I'm a cider guy. I like my ciders. That's my downfall, I guess. So, but guys, before I leave, we've been on for 45 minutes. I'm gonna give you some more announcements for Believers Talk. We got into some of your questions. Always enjoy having you guys on here, and we can talk back and forth. Like I said, I had some things to talk about. On that if there wasn't this interaction that we could have talked about, but I love this interaction. Again, last episode I did a fantasy football episode about what Buffalo Bills players have fantasy value, so you want to check that out if you are playing fantasy football this season. That's why I believe, again, I don't play fantasy football, so I was trying to keep it as unbiased as possible. If you have fantasy football questions, I am a stats guy. I love, not just Bills, even though that's who I commentate on. I love looking at stats, so if you have a fantasy question, you can always ask me here on Believers Talk, and I'll give you my honest opinion. But I want to get into my announcements. Like I said, I've been on here for 45 minutes. Won't be on here too much longer. Fox 87. Listen, Fox 87, I'll always shout out your channel. Again, you do great content. Even though you are a Raptors fan, but congratulations on the title. Sorry about Kawhi. You couldn't get him back. But yeah, great content over there. So keep up the good work. So as far as how good will the run game be? Top 10? No, it won't be top 10. I want it to be top 10. I really do. But I think between 10 and 15, maybe between 5 and 15. Let's say that. Like, it won't be top 5, right? But maybe I could see it squeaking into the top 10. So let's say between 5th and 15. Pretty much that would put us where we were where were we last year? 18th? Something like that. So, I don't know. I think between 5 and 15, see an improvement. I think you'll see a big improvement in our passing game, which will only help the run game, of course. Last year we ranked 31st in passing. I think this year we're going to be up in the low 20s, maybe even high teens. Which, if you think about it, guys, that's a huge improvement, right? You can't expect us to go from 31st to 5th, right? It's just not realistic. But if our defense can play as well as they did last year, Josh Allen can complete 60% of his passes. This is not only a playoff team, this is a division contender. And that's all I'm going to say about that. LaShawn McCoy maybe gets over 1,000 yards. You see Devin Singletary, Frank Gore averaging 3.7 or more yards per carry. Then you're going to see this team be a division contender, not just a wild card team looking to get in. So that's what I think. I think that the run game, 5 to 15. And we'll get into that. My next couple episodes, that's what I did say this. My next couple episodes, I'll talk about the offense, right? I'll tell you my prediction for how the Buffalo Bills offense will do. I'll give you my prediction of how the Buffalo Bills defense will do, and then I'll give you a prediction of how we're going to do overall. And then I'll probably do another prediction right before the season starts. So those are things to look forward to on Believers Talk. But to get into the announcements I have for you guys, you already heard most of them if you've been following this channel. First of all, like I said, to begin this NFL season, #sports Believers Talk. We're going to be working together to give you continued play-by-play and reaction live for every single Buffalo Bills game. We're going to be on YouTube, and then we're also going to be over on sportscaster.com. Again, link in the description below. If you go on there, you will see a lot more information behind us. You won't see just the logos behind us and things like that. We'll have a ticker up giving you score updates, giving you down and distance, giving you timeout situations, things like that. So you'll want to join us either here or on there. We'll look forward to doing that. Again, as I said earlier at the beginning of this video, I am also partnering with www.bewarethestampede.com. We did a video to announce our partnership. So if you haven't heard, again, we are partnering. And to start off this partnership, we are giving away a Buffalo Bills Andre Reed signed mini helmet. So you want to, first of all, if you're not subscribed to Believers Talk, hit that subscribe button, like this video, leave a comment. Then you want to go over to Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, both Beware the Stampede and Believers Talk. Each follow will get you an entry into the sweepstakes. We'll tweet about the contest every single day. And if you retweet, that will give you a entry as well. Just go over to bewarethestampede.com, log your entries, and you will get credit for every single entry. And then also join his mailing list. If you join his mailing list, you get entry for that as well. So I hope that you guys do that. Hey, Buffalo Tings, sorry you made it towards the end here. I'm just wrapping up, but always good to see you here on Believers Talk, just talking some Buffalo Bills football again. Kind of the lull of the NFL season as we wait to see what's going on 9 weeks until the first Sunday of NFL regular season football. I look forward to that. If the Bills can at least split with the Pats, we can go 12-4 absolutely every time. Well, Buffalo Tings, just remember, 9 weeks from now, start 1 o'clock, right? So actually, we're going to probably start at 12:30 to give you the live coverage. And yes, I will continue to be live between now and then. But you know how life is, guys. You're not sure what the schedule holds, but I will continue to keep you updated on all Buffalo Bills content. So again, go over to Twitter, follow Beware the Stampede, follow Believers Talk, in partnership with #sports. Give away a mini helmet Andre Reed signed. So again, you want to tweet about that to give you an entry every single day. I look forward to giving that away. We're giving that away. Last day to enter is August 6th. That's the last day of training camp. After August 6th, I will do a training camp wrap-up video, and in that video, we will be going ahead and pulling the winner's name and mailing that out to them so they can have that for the start of the regular. I think the Dolphins still have a chance too. Again, remember the Dolphins at home always seem to beat the Pats, and so I'm not sure why, but yeah, I absolutely think we can win this division. I don't think there's any question about that, and we'll talk about that in a later episode as well. But thank you for joining me live here on this Sunday. We look forward to football season starting back up here soon. I look forward to talking to y'all, and until I do, go Bills.